Um, it's funny. I never saw myself as having the possibility to teach because my parents are excellent teachers. They're music educators, and my dad's a vocal teacher, and my mom piano, flute, clarinet, and they're amazing teachers. And I never thought that I had the patience or the skill to teach. I, I, I was just, they can do that, I can't do that. So I will play. And I didn't prepare myself mentally to teach or anything. Um, but somehow, I guess it's just in my DNA or something because, and actually, I have two siblings, and all of us have ended up in education. Um, my sister, she teaches elementary school, wonderful teacher. My brother, who's a great drummer, we've worked with a lot of the same people, Quincy Davis. He is teaching at Winnipeg, University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, and this is, I think, his fourth year. And so somehow we've all ended up in education. I taught at Juilliard for 6 years before starting at Michigan State this past August, and I really love it. The first semester at Juilliard, I was, when I was asked to do it, I'm like, wow, teaching. What am I going to teach? I don't know what to talk about. I just do it. I don't know. And but Carl Allen had asked me, and I said, well, I can't say no to Juilliard, so I have to at least give it a shot. And I really enjoyed it because it made me think about things are that I don't think about a lot. I haven't thought about for years. And I reassess things and why do I do that? Maybe I shouldn't, or maybe I need to revisit that. And students ask questions, you go, give me a day or a week to think about that. Hold on. And it's really cool. And it gives us insight into the way people think because I learned one way and I see other people that learn a completely different way. We end up in the same place or in similar places, learning this language of bebop, but often coming from different angles. And so I think it reinforces what you already know when you can look at things in different ways, and that teaching helps do that. I advise students in the beginning to just work on the music. Don't worry about the career, um, because the career comes after the music is, after you've after you show that you can do this. A lot of people begin thinking about the career and they're still struggling with their scales and things, and like you're not going to have a career if you can't play. So for me it's really important that they really focus on the music and loving the music, not just um, doing it because they have to and trying to get a career out of it, but you have to love it, otherwise you're not going to make it through. There's a lot of struggle. I mean, I've been really fortunate with my career, but there is, even after you get to a certain level, there's still a lot to deal with. You're dealing with club owners, bands, and people get offended because you can't do their tour. It's going to overlap, and there's a lot of stuff that is stressful, and it can be, it can, if you don't love it, you're going to quit. You have to love it, I think. And so I want my students to love the music, to focus on the music, to listen, to play as much as possible, whether they're getting paid or not, and to, yeah, just immerse themselves in the music. And the opportunities, I think they come. Um, they're not always obvious, and they're not always where we were looking for them, but they do come, and it's being prepared when they do come. I think it's a different day and age than it was in the 50s. We're not, they're not these bands where you're just constantly on the road and you're playing every night and just becoming amazing. You have to become amazing in other ways than they did in the 50s. But I think there's no way around playing your instrument as much as possible and listening. I think everyone's aspirations are probably similar. They love music. They know they have to make a living. They want to make a living making music. I think that's, you know, whether it's Juilliard, Michigan State, or a community college somewhere, or someone who doesn't go to college. It's still the same aspirations. So we're trying to figure out, I mean, or someone like myself, or, you know, we're trying to figure out how to make a living doing what we love. And at Juilliard, you know, students are coming in at a very high level, and sometimes the struggle, not to isolate Juilliard, but with more advanced students, is that they have to learn humility, that there's something to learn still, that you're not there yet. You got into a great school, but this is, you're still going to school, and you have to learn something. But that can be in any program. And Michigan State, there's some really good players, and there's also players who are less experienced, and you see potential in them, and but they have a lot to learn technically, and but I see the same dreams in them, you know. Well, about reading an audience, the person who I think about the most as far as reading audiences, Betty Carter, my first steady gig after college. She taught us that. It didn't matter how tired we were, how long the tour had been, how many 5 a.m. wake-up calls we had, or who's mad at who. None of that matters, because these people paid to hear us make some music, and they may have been saving up for, you know, who knows how long, and they want some great music, and we owe that to them. And so it's really important to give them the best that we have to offer. And as far as reading the audience, I think assume that they know what's going on. They might not know technically, but we're human beings. And I don't know much about country music, but I can, and I don't listen to a lot of country music, but there are artists who I can listen to, and I can tell that they're sincere. I can feel something from their music. And I think it's true of any music. If you're honest to the audience, to the listener, like, and you're not trying to pull the wool over their eyes, like, I'm so serious and into my music, and you're not. People feel that. And I think just bringing honesty to the stage is really important. And I try to convey that to students and younger musicians. That's the most important thing you can do, I think. And if you do that, then you're in the music, you're going to make musical decisions. Maybe I made a set list, and once I feel the audience, this doesn't feel right. The next tune, I was going to play a ballad, and there's a lot of energy in the room. They want to, you know, so let's go with that. What can we do to use that energy, because I'm feeding off the audience, and they're feeding off of me, and so I try to talk about that a bit with students. Hello, this is Xavier Davis, and for more videos, go to jazztimes.com.